What's up, you guys? It's Cody. Today we're talking about why you have to have real estate in your overall portfolio and why, in my opinion, it's actually better than the stock market itself. I'm going to be giving you 5 different reasons why real estate is better than stocks and why you need to invest in real estate if you haven't already done so. Now, just to clear things up before we get into this, I do want to say that I do invest in stocks and I still think they have their place, but for me, real estate's always going to be my number one, and I do think that it's the most important asset that most people can have in their portfolio. With these 5 reasons that I'm going to give you are going to explain exactly why. Make sure you stick with me all the way to the end because I'm going to make a couple of arguments here that I think you're really going to like. With that being said, give me a thumbs up here on this video. I put a ton of time and effort into planning out this video and giving you these 5 points as to why real estate's better than stocks. And so you giving me a thumbs up here on the video really helps me out the YouTube algorithm, and I really appreciate it. With that being said, let's jump right into item number 1. The first thing on our list is going to be cash flow. Real estate is known for producing massive amounts of cash flow that spits out money every single month that you can use for your personal expenses. You can use it to reinvest. You can use it to cover expenses on the property. You can do basically whatever you want with it. And this is something that's very hard to come by in the stock world. Now, of course, you do have dividend stocks, which spits out cash every month or maybe every quarter, possibly even every year, depending on what type of dividend it is. But it's something that's so small that you just really can't take advantage of it. You need a massive account in order to be able to generate enough dividends to have it actually make sense in the long term. The cash flow that I'm able to generate from my real estate investment purchases spits out over $4,600 every single month in pure cash flow. It's going to take a lot of money to be able to produce that same amount in just dividends. Next up, let's talk about getting an actual gain when it comes to real estate versus stocks. The problem with stocks is that when you actually get a gain, it's not actually money that you can use, right? You own the shares that are now worth more, but you don't actually get that money, right? Unless you sell that and then pay taxes on it, you don't really have that money to spend. And that kind of builds on top of point number 1 that I made, which is that you get cash flow every single month that you can use and spend however you like. The problem with stocks is that when the prices of those shares actually go up, you can't really do anything with it. You're just kind of sitting there like, oh, okay, yeah, well, this is great. You know, my stock's up 50% and that's it, right? It's just a number in the bank account, whereas the cash flow comes out every single month and you can use it however you like. So this is one thing that I think real estate has a huge advantage on over stocks. Now, of course, this does build on the fact that you need cash flow when it comes to real estate, which you may or may not have depending on the type of deal you get, but also real estate can go up in value just like stocks can. Real estate might go up and you might get equity in your property and you're not going to be able to use that, right? You could say, oh, my house is worth $1 million and I only bought it for, $750,000. Well, that's great. That's not going to change. You can't actually use that money until you sell it. So those things are the same, but it really comes back to being able to have that cash flow every single month that you can actually do something with. Number 3 on our list, real estate is not liquid. This means that it's harder to impulse buy and impulse sell. I know that this is one thing that a lot of people have issues with when it comes to the stock market is they buy stocks and then they see it go down and they have to hurry and impulse sell it, right? Because they don't want to take a loss on the stock. And other times I'll actually see people where they'll watch a stock continue to go up and up and up, and then all of a sudden they get FOMO and they say, oh, I need to buy in because I'm missing out on all these gains, and then they buy in, and then guess what? The stock drops right after that. So this impulse buying and selling that you have with the stock market can really work against you. When it comes to stock market investing, you really want to try to avoid this. You want to make long-term decisions as much as possible, at least for the majority of your portfolio, because that's what's really going to help you with that long-term growth. So real estate not being liquid is actually a major advantage for most people. This means it's going to be way more consistent in the day-to-day price changes, or probably even month-to-month price changes, just because the prices don't move drastically in one day, just like stocks can. So really, guys, there's nothing worse than buying into a company because you got FOMO, you saw all the gains that were going on, you saw the stock was increasing, you decided to buy in, and then all of a sudden, as soon as you get in, of course, then the stock starts to come down in price, and then you're sitting there, sitting on some massive losses thinking, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I know you've probably done that because I know that I have. My 4th reason on why real estate's actually better than stocks is you've got multiple ways to actually take advantage of different types of returns, right? You've got cash flow, which comes to you every single month. You've also got appreciation. The real estate could go up in price. You've also got depreciation, which is going to give you tax benefits. This is being able to write off the expenses that you have on the property in order to avoid paying taxes on that property. And 4th, you're also going to get principal pay down. Every single time that tenant makes a rent payment to you and then you turn around and make the mortgage payment, you're paying down that mortgage every single month. Sometimes this can be be $300, $400, $500. It might even be as high as $1,000. My lowest property that I get paid down on every single month is about $150 that goes towards that principal every single time I make a payment. And my highest is actually upwards of $1,000 every single month that gets paid down by the tenant who's there living in the house. So you've got 4 different ways to really benefit from this. Contrasting that to actual stock in a company, you really only benefit if the share price goes up. That's really the only way to benefit when you're investing in stocks. So that's one other reason that I like real estate, is because you've got the opportunity to actually profit and get returns in 4 different ways, which really increases the amount of return you can get overall. This kind of leads into that next point too. In the stock market, you might be happy to get 8%. You might be happy to get 10%. Maybe you're really good at what you do and you pick stocks that go up 20% every single year. Well, to be honest, I can get 14, 15% just in cash on cash return. And then as soon as I factor in those other benefits, such as appreciation of the property or depreciation of the property to avoid paying taxes, or the principal pay down, my overall return is easily 30 to 50% on most of my properties. And number 5 on our list, leverage. Leverage is absolutely key when it comes to real estate investing, and it's something that's very hard to get anywhere else. Now, of course, yes, you do have margin when you go and buy stocks, but it doesn't work in the same fashion. I want to explain a little bit about leverage and how it works with real estate. So let's say that you have $100,000 and you put 20% down on a $500,000 property. Well, now let's say that $500,000 property goes to $600,000. You really only had to invest that same $100,000 at the beginning. So that $100,000 has now doubled into $200,000 worth of equity. So if you sell at $600,000, you doubled your money at that point. And of course, I'm not accounting for any selling fees, commissions, anything like that, but you've doubled your money in that sense. And that basically means that the property itself went up 20%. Now, if we compare that to stocks, if you have $100,000 and you put it into a stock, and let's say that stock goes up 20%, that means that your investment now in that stock is $120,000. That's only a 20% return instead of 100% return like you got with the real estate. Leverage is by far my favorite advantage when it comes to investing in real estate, because it allows you to control an asset that is 5, 10, maybe 15, or even 20 times what you actually put into it. You could put as little as $10,000, maybe $20,000 into a property, and you can be able to control that asset that might be worth $200,000, $300,000, maybe even $400,000 with just that small down payment. And one other thing with real estate, you can get into it with no money down. Yes, this is possible. Yes, people are doing it, and you have to be careful with that. I know there's a lot of scammers out there and gurus who will say, oh yeah, it's no money down, whatever, but it is possible. A lot of people are doing this, and that's just not something you can do with stocks, right? Somebody tell me how you can buy stocks with no money down, please. If you figured out a way, let me know. And I'm not talking about margin, that doesn't count here, right? I'm talking about buying real estate with absolutely no money down. It is possible, and it is being done every single day. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Drop a comment down below. I want to know, do you agree or disagree with me? Is real estate actually better than stocks? Did I miss anything here? I might have. Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, give me a thumbs up here on the video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. I talk about all things money, stocks, and real estate here on the channel, and I'd love to see you again in the future. With that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.